We are Cactus Wrestling. Make sure you hit that like button and subscribe so you don't miss out on future videos.
We are fresh off the NWCA All-Star Classic. And boy, man, this did not really go how we expected it. Unless your name is Mike.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Our original predictions, we made some misses.
We, hey, I, yeah.
Let's just start from the top. I mean, 125, Matt Ramos versus
Yeah.
Anthony Soto.
That was not a miss.
You got that one. Yeah.
I was talking Ramos. I was like, Ramos can do this.
He bounced back in a big way.
The collective Cactus choice.
Oh, yes. The collective Cactus choice was wrong. I was the voice of reason in this instance. I'm not the voice of reason in some other weights, but I was the voice of reason at this one.
It just shows how good our high school 126s are.
Yeah. So I wonder how this is going to affect the rankings here with Joe having beaten Ramos.
Right?
Ramos beats Noto.
Well, yeah,
it's an exhibition,
rankings,
right? It doesn't.
Yeah,
count.
it doesn't change anything.
They're not going to change the rankings despite the loss.
No. Plus, like flow rankings are like very strange. I mean, we talked about this, but it's like oh no, Crookham like Crookham goes to number one. It's like, but why?
Yeah, we could that's
I mean we could hash that out all day, but like their rankings are very strange sometimes.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is an exhibition. This doesn't count for or against them. It's just like, when you're at court or something and they're like, jury, pretend you didn't see that when they say, we want that stricken from the record, but it's already happened. So,
but I mean, I think Ramos wrestled the better match. I mean, just obviously he did because he won, but like he wrestled the better match. Like Noto wasn't not trying, but like it seemed like Ramos was making more effort to score than Noto was. Noto didn't really seem to have as much of a sense of urgency.
Yeah, I think Ramos looked better than a few weeks ago when he lost to high schooler Marcus Blaze.
Yeah,
but it's like he's incredibly difficult to score.
Yeah, you get it on the leg, it don't matter.
Even like on the Camacho one, when he had his leg up in the air, like he kind of just like dove for the other ankle, and that's how he got it. Like I don't know if Ramos gives that up next time.
Yeah, that's true.
Because they obviously got in that big scramble, Noto and Ramos, and no one scored from it.
Yeah, that was a crazy scramble. I like that.
He's a good scrambler, man. I mean, it's the same thing we saw his scrambling ability and his, how tough it is to score him when he wrestled against Marcus Blaze. Granted, high schooler, a little bit different, but it's the same stuff that we saw. It's like, hey, great defense, fights through every position, continues to wrestle hard no matter what, where he's at.
Yeah. And I think we may have overhyped some of these guys' top abilities.
Yeah.
Well, you didn't overhype Noto's top ability because Ramos didn't choose bottom.
That's true. With the 3-point takedown, a little bit of strategy goes into play.
I'm not gonna go on bottom and risk giving up like the riding time point.
I didn't think of that actually. Yeah, he wasn't on top at all, right? No. Yeah.
No, because Ramos
maybe he should have chose top.
He could have chose top.
Maybe he should have.
That'd be like a classic Ethan. That'd be like an Ethan Lezak thing. He had like I don't know if you guys remember. He did a commercial with like Minnesota where he was like in an elevator and like, where you going? He's like, up.
No, I don't remember that commercial.
I'll have to send it to you guys.
Hey, Ethan, you heading to class? Oh, you going up or down?
That's a quality commercial. It's like when Brayton Lee was back instead of Gable.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Yeah.
That commercial.
We're like, oh, he's back.
Yeah, he's back, and it's Brayton Lee, and then Brayton Lee has a terrible year.
But I mean, I think this match could have gone either way. They're clearly, I think this could be the finals. I think.
Yeah, it was a really competitive match, but Noto just didn't seem to have that urgency.
No.
And Ramos seems to be shaking off the rust that he kind of was dealing with, earlier in the season. That's why
last week.
Well, I mean, like it's that's why the national championship's in March and not
Yeah,
November. Is that like a
yeah,
lot of these guys?
exactly.
I'm not gonna pick, not to bring up Marcus Blaze again, but I don't think he would beat Ramos in the NCAA's this year. I think
Right.
by the time March rolls around, it's a whole different match.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Ramos is already working on those
Yeah,
adjustments.
yeah, exactly. And that's what top wrestlers do.
Yeah.
So moving up to 133, this is going to be very interesting for Lehigh.
I
Yeah.
yeah.
It's a
What
weird
do they
kind of problem
do?
to have.
What do they do?
Do you think does he go up? I mean, Lehigh has a returning All American there, I believe.
Malik
Well,
Hines.
He
No,
was
I
around
don't
a
think he's All
12.
American. I think
well,
he,
yeah, okay, yeah, around as well. That's right.
Malik Hines is good. Like,
Yeah,
Yeah, but
someone
maybe they all bump and Hines goes to 49 for the good of the team. Like
I,
maybe
I don't
McGonigal goes 49 for the good.
I don't know Lehigh's lineup that well, to be honest with you. But someone's either hitting the bench or hitting the transfer portal. Um, with the way some of these guys transfer now, and
Yeah.
it just seems so much easier than it has in past years. I could see him saying, I know my worth. I'm beating top guys.
Well, yeah. I mean, yeah. McGonigal pulling off the overtime win over Latona.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, that puts them in a like if McGonigal lost that, then it's even more like, yeah, Crookham's our guy.
Mhm.
He just got the 2 wins over McGonigal and Vito.
Yeah.
Um, but now that he beat Latona, like Latona's top 5 guy. I mean, McGonigal did was a little complacent in that match. He clearly in neutral was like, I'm just gonna hold position for the like second half of that match. And even in like that overtime period, he made zero effort to try and get a takedown.
I was kind of
Yeah,
worried about Latona's knee. I don't know if you guys remember, like,
yes.
when the whole like crowd was like, ooh, they were scrambling, and even David Taylor, who was on commentary, was like, yeah, I don't like this position because of that.
Yeah, no, yeah,
Um,
something definitely happened because he
yeah,
wasn't quite the same after that. I don't think he lost because of it, but still, something definitely affected that knee.
yeah.
He was kind of limping, sort of.
comment down below what's going to happen with Connor McGonigal. Is he transferring? Is he bumping up a weight class? Is he riding bench? What's happening to Ryan Crookham? What are we going to see from Lehigh
I
at,
mean, I
at
don't see how
33?
Crookham is on the bench in favor of McGonigal just because McGonigal
He
beat
beat him in
Latona.
overtime, though.
Yeah, but he
I
also beat
almost
Vito.
I almost wonder if they're gonna say like, hey, like Crookham, like take an extra, take a red shirt year and just when Vito graduates next
Didn't
year, you're
he?
gonna come back.
Didn't he redshirt last year?
I wonder if he can maybe qualify for an Olympic red shirt.
Even though he's already wrestled for Lehigh.
Uh, I gotta say, I don't know. I don't. The red shirting rule is the eligibility, the 5 match rule. Like
Yeah.
it's
Well, no,
tough
that's
to
only
keep
for a
track.
true freshman, the 5 match.
Yeah, and he's had a duel now, hasn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah, so the red shirt's done. I guess it's
Yeah,
both.
no, yeah, they both
Yeah,
don't have
he's yeah,
eligibility.
And
yeah.
this
It's
is
either tank or
McGonigal's
swim.
last year.
Well, they announced him today as a junior.
Oh, he's only a junior. Oh, I think he's hitting the transfer portal then. If he's only a
Hell yeah.
junior, he's gone.
Yeah.
I wonder where the best landing spot is for him. Or do you think he bumps up to 41 like you were saying?
49.
Yeah, maybe 49.
Can he beat Malik?
What if he does though? And Malik ends up having to go up.
That's interesting.
Just gonna keep pushing everybody up until it comes all the
Yeah.
way back around.
Yeah. Nate Taylor's going 125.
In the move that no one expected, Nate Taylor versus Matt Ramos in the finals.
Yeah, yeah, right.
Oh man. All right. So 41. Josh Coderhant steps up after Clay Carlson. Maybe he missed this plane or something. Who knows what happened? He wrestled Lachlan McNeil, and
We had all picked Lachlan McNeil to beat Clay Carlson.
Yeah.
yeah,
So
I mean
we're technically
Lachlan.
not wrong.
Yeah, Lachlan looked good. He got one takedown, and then that was pretty much the match.
Yeah, I was actually impressed that Coderhant kept the
It
match
kept
as
it as
close
close
as
as
it
it was,
was.
yeah.
Yeah, like
Especially if it wasn't a 3-point takedown. If it was just a 2-point takedown, he wins by one.
yeah, like that was And I mean, there was even like the last scramble. It was almost like, oh, is Coderhant gonna get in there? No, okay. But like, I expected Lachlan McNeil to win by a much larger margin than 4-2. Especially since he's the number 3 ranked guy in the country. Like, I mean, coming off the NCAAs he had, I really did have higher expectations against Coderhant because not that Coderhant's bad, but like he doesn't have quite the same resume as McNeil or even Clay Carlson. So
41's a funny weight. I don't know if Lachlan McNeil at what is he, number 3?
yeah.
I don't know. I know he All-American last year, but maybe it's a little high, or maybe it just speaks to the lack of depth at this weight class.
I feel like Brock Hardy would beat him if they wrestled today, though.
Yeah.
Who? Lachlan?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And even Ryan Jack has never lost to him.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's right.
He's beat him twice. So there's guys out there, even Cole Matthews, who just took another loss.
Yeah.
I feel like and I've said this before, I feel like it's really going to come down to Real Woods versus Bo Bartlett again.
I don't know. Vince Cornella took Bo Bartlett to overtime.
So did
Yeah,
Tyler Kazak. Well, no,
Yeah,
it wasn't overtime. I messed up on that.
Kasak's a really good wrestler. First, second, Bo also bounced back by like majoring like the number 5 guy right after that.
But he had an overtime match with Vince Cornella.
Yeah, I don't know. Vince Cornella is also nationally ranked.
Yeah, but he's not an All-American.
Eh.
You had him on an island with Woods.
And did he lose? I don't know. I feel like he won.
Yeah, he didn't lose.
Why do you think he didn't wrestle?
I don't. So from what I heard, some guys were asking. They were just like, "No, I'm good." I think that it's the same thing that we saw probably at 165, where it's like, "Oh, Real Woods, or some, declined it," and then Bo's like, "Well, then I'm not going to wrestle either."
Mm-hmm.
Because at 165, I think same thing. Like what I kind of heard is like Keegan's like, "No, I'm really not interested in it," and David Carr's like, "Well, if he's not going, I'm not going," and they just worked down the list. And that's what happened at 157.
Alleged. Well, we'll get there, but
yeah. Well, I mean, Ja'Cory Teamer was like the 5, and they're like, we asked Levi Haynes, and he was down, and then 2, 3, 4, we're like, no, we're good, thanks.
Yeah.
But we'll get to it.
Yeah.
49.
Shane Van Ness over Kyle Parko.
And this was a pretty competitive match. I know I picked Parko, and Parko did disappoint.
It was a pretty good 5-1 match, though.
Yeah, I mean, it was a pretty competitive match. It really came down to that one exchange that led to the throw to his back, which resulted in no backs. But
surprising.
And then after that, it looked like Parko had just blew his load and was done. Like he had nothing after that takedown. The whole third period, he just kind of was like mush.
I think that'll. Oh, you go first.
No, that was.
I was just saying. I think just watching some of these guys tonight, you're seeing clearly like some of the guys that are already in wrestling shape, and some of the guys that are still just working their way back to it.
Yeah.
And we especially saw some of the other weights, and we'll talk about that later.
Yeah, Parko definitely seemed like he was not in as good a shape as Van Ness, and that he kind of broke after that takedown.
Yeah,
he was still pretty competitive. So I mean, not a lot of shots from him, but still.
That was number 2 versus number 3, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Because Ridge is number 1.
Yep. Yeah, because they're returning 3 and 4 at the weight. Yeah.
But hey, like I said, I'm a big Shane Van Ness fan. He just likes, maximum effort is kind of his motto, and he talks about just pushing a high pace and just breaking guys. We saw last year Shane wasn't a super offensive guy. He was just like, I'm going to hand fight you to death, and then when you get tired, I'm going to go after it. So it seems like he's at least improving there, where he's just getting a little bit more volume with his shots. He did a funny interview the other day. We're like, oh, do you think you've improved? And he goes, I'm 1,000,000,000% better than I was last year.
Oh, I saw that. Yeah.
Yeah. And they're like, what's your prediction? He goes, I think the headline reads Van Ness stomps.
Whoa.
I don't know if I would say he stomps. I mean, he won. I wouldn't say that was a stomp. There's another his teammate stomped.
Yeah, some of you
Actually,
guys
two
from
of his
Penn State.
teammates really, three of them really stomped. But yeah,
So 157 would have been a fun matchup between Ja'Cory Teamer and Levi Haynes. Both of them might be battling injuries, so they pivoted, and we got the D2 national champ versus the D3 national champ. Cool
this was a
concept.
fun match.
See what the what the difference is between the two weights, and it delivered. It was an exciting match. Went
I
to
think it was the longest match.
Easily the most competitive. Like they were, as far as like good matchups. There wasn't like anybody that was blown out of the water. I mean, they went to triple overtime.
Yeah,
yeah.
they did SV1, they did tiebreaker 1 and 2, then they went to SV2,
Yeah, because he got the
and they went
reversal.
to tiebreakers too.
Yeah, because he got like a reversal in period 8, as they're calling it on
Yeah.
Flow. But hey, D3 guy won. That's awesome. Love that.
D3 is better than D2. Say what?
How do we think either of these guys would do against? I don't know. I guess Levi Haynes.
I think Levi Haynes would. Yeah, I don't know about Tech, but he'd do pretty damaging stuff.
Oof.
Yeah. Like, I mean, Novak had some slick defense dive into the ankles. That was like his go-to. I just feel like he runs into these D1 guys. They're anticipating guys to do that, and I feel like it wouldn't have. It would have ended up him getting taken down instead of stalemate. So,
I
I mean,
think that
you wrestled a D3 national champ, Jack. It's not quite the same caliber.
I wrestled one of the best.
Yeah,
Four-time D3 national champion.
Yeah, and he was undefeated D3, right?
I think so. He was the Cale Sanderson of D3, and your boy beat him. Riley Lefevre. Me and Ofer Bernstein beat him at Midlands.
Yeah,
that's a fun fact. Humble brag.
Humble brag.
This isn't about me.
But one thing that you mentioned off screen, Mike, is that like maybe the better guy didn't necessarily win that match.
Oh yeah,
just gassed pretty hard.
Yeah, no, yeah, because like technically speaking, Novak looked like he was the better wrestler. Like he had better skill, but he kind of gassed and that's what cost him. I mean, I don't think he was prepared for it to be a triple overtime match. So
who prepares for that? Crazy people. That's who.
Penn State.
Yeah.
So 65 was a weight that we all look a little sheepish on.
That's for sure.
Yo, I never would have picked it to go the way,
especially since Dean Hamidi's
never
beat Olejnik 3 times before.
Yeah,
and he just couldn't finish. He got in like
watching
7 times.
The beginning of that match. He gets in on so many shots. It's like Olejnik is stalling. Olejnik is stalling. And then out of nowhere, oh, this is a nice like ankle pick.
That's the John Smith effect.
Yeah, Okie State.
I don't think John Smith was even in his corner.
Doesn't matter. You don't think John Smith's been on those ankles before?
Probably getting a sweet new vest somewhere.
He is the king of vests.
I just with Hamidi, and I mentioned this to you guys, he just wrestled a closer match with David Carr, like literally a few days ago. So I don't know if he's
mean that Olejnik can beat David Carr.
Yeah, associated property.
Yeah. What?
I don't. And I wonder if this is tough to make weight twice so close to one another. I don't know what Hamidi walks around at. If that was a struggle to be like, hey, you're traveling, and now you have to make weight again, and it's been a very short time. Maybe he doesn't feel as rested.
Gassed, though. Like,
yeah, well, that's what I mean.
He seemed to be the one pushing the pace. Olejnik seemed to be the slug.
Yeah,
I feel like since this was an exhibition, like, why do they need to weigh in?
Just honor system.
It doesn't matter anyway. It doesn't matter anyway.
But yeah, I think that that's pretty crazy with Olejnik. This would definitely
that
shake
takedown was the whole match. I mean, then again, he did score again at the end, right?
He got another takedown at the end, yeah.
Because Hamidi got a little sloppy.
Yeah, well, he had to go for it. He's like, I gotta go after it. And if I give up a takedown, I give up a takedown, but I gotta
Go
get
for
after it
broke.
because he needed that takedown to tie it just to send it into overtime.
Yeah.
Not a good week for Wisconsin, who got blanked by Iowa State, and then their one sole rep for the All-Star Classic
Yeah.
gets
And
upset.
Wisconsin's on a downward spiral here, which is not doing them any favors.
Yeah, they just
But
had to make some adjustments.
as crazy as that match was, 174. Now, just to set the record straight, I think for those in the comments, I think most of our gripes were with Mekhi Lewis, not Carter Starachi. That's why we're saying this is going to be a boring match because Mekhi Lewis, yet again, did not take a single shot in this match.
He
didn't
took a few
last year
half
either.
shots.
You like fake the shot, pretend to fake the shot.
Yeah.
And then
Honestly, it was not as boring as I was saying or thinking it was going to be. But then again, it was because Carter really got after it.
Carter beat the dog out of him. Just an ass whooping for 7 minutes.
In the first 90 seconds, Mekhi wrestled all the match he was willing to wrestle.
It was that first defense of that takedown. I think it just sucked the life out of him, and he was done after that.
That was the entire match of energy that Mekhi had was that first 90 seconds, because then after that, the floodgates opened.
Yeah, I mean, he got hit for stalling in the first and then gave a stall point before. That was the first point scored in the match was a stall point, if that gives you any indication of how
we did call that. We did call there would be a stall point.
Yeah.
But, I mean, kudos to Mekhi, though, because he didn't have to accept this match. He stepped up at least.
Yeah,
and in Carter's interview, apparently he was saying they were having a hard time getting people to accept. So maybe Mekhi said no at first, and then they asked him again, and he was like, all right.
No one wanted to go up against Carter.
Hey, Chris Foca ran away from him, so
that's true. Chris Foca going, I'm gonna go up a weight. I'll do better there.
There's a few things that I learned from this. First, the pound for pound debate is over. Anyone that says that Carter's not number one, and it was like, oh, Vito, it's easy. How could you pick against the world champion? He just lost. To a guy that wasn't.
I disagree with you. I never said Vito was number one. I said
I'm not saying you. I know. I'm just saying, like, the guys that were like, oh, or it's Keegan. Keegan's not
argument for Keegan.
Keegan is not majoring 11-0. The returning number 2.
That's true.
You know who did though? Aaron Brooks.
Aaron Brooks did. Yes, yeah. So I still stand behind my number one. On
Aaron Brooks.
Go back to the video. But my rankings for pound and pound. Brooks was the one.
To play devil's advocate to that, in Carter Strachey's interview beforehand, they asked him, "Do you think you're the top pound for pound guy?" And he said, "I got some pretty good teammates. Aside from my teammates, yeah, I'd beat anyone." But then he was like, "Aaron Brooks is pretty good, though."
Yeah.
So I think in Carter's mind, Aaron Brooks is number one.
I don't know. Carter, I saw that same interview. He was like, yeah, he goes, you line me up against anybody else outside of my teammates. He goes, I'll go from 125 to 285 and just beat everybody.
Yeah. He was also like, I like looking around in the grocery store and saying, I could take it.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I kind of do that. I'll be like, oh, I could beat that person.
Carter, like, he's like, yeah, like, when I'm going grocery shopping, I'll like look at that guy and be like, I could take him. But back to the match, Carter dominated every position, earned 2 stall points, an escape, turn on top for a near fall, multiple takedowns, a riding time point. He won every single position in wrestling. 11-0. If it was a 3-3-3 match with like 9 minutes long instead of 3-2-2 like regular college, he would have attacked him. He broke Mekhi Lewis, and Mekhi was just holding on for dear life at the end.
Yeah, he really did break him. Like Mekhi had nothing.
Yeah,
and it's a little discouraging. Like, is anyone going to give him competition this year?
Shane Griffith,
Hodge, Carter for Hodge.
I don't know though. Sportsmanship.
Brooks for Hodge.
He kind of like yanked on Mekhi's leg. Like that was not cool,
but it's okay because it's an exhibition, so it doesn't count against him. The sportsmanship.
Yeah,
the sportsmanship doesn't count again. It's very
so moving up to
184.
moving up to 84. Parker Catguys and Bernie Truex. This is another good match.
Before the match, I wasn't rooting for one guy more so than the other, but as the match progressed, I started actively rooting against Truex because of the way Truex wrestled the match.
He was fleeing a little bit. It looked like he was fleeing.
He was pulling himself out of bounds. Like Kick Ison's pulling him in. Pulls him in, pulls him in, pulls him in. What's he do? Pulls him out, gets his foot to touch the wood. Like, come on, man.
And then he would go into the splits. Yeah. And then
he should have been getting hit with like fleeing the mat point, or because that was just, it was blatant. Like he was disengaging.
He wrestled to preserve his lead. He didn't wrestle to expand upon his lead.
Yeah, he got that takedown and tried to just run with it.
I was going to say, he got the takedown with the swing single like 30 seconds into the match. And I'm like, oh, man, he's going to just score all day. And then he didn't score again.
Well, yeah, they were saying in the commentary, they were like, yeah, he said before the match, I got to get in there. I got to get that first takedown. That's really important. It's like, okay, yeah, he did, but then he's going to still lose the match.
It's important, the second takedown.
Yeah. Yeah.
That 3 points gets wiped away with another 3 point against you. So.
Yeah, well, he ended up getting called for stalling, giving up 2 points before giving up that takedown. Like, he was destined to lose the match from the way he was wrestling it.
Yeah, I think that he'll make an adjustment
on that 3 points.
I know the Penn State guys seem to love to score points. I think that as a transfer, he's gonna Bernie's gonna have to kind of get into that because he clearly can take him down. He did it, the first 30 seconds of the match. He's just got to keep that consistency. And I think he
wanted to ride that to the sunset.
Ride that wave, yeah. I think he can do it. I think this match is going to keep being close. I don't know if they're the firm finalists at 184 yet. Keck Eisen, just like you said,
with Boca coming up.
Yeah, that was probably the most dominating 7-5 as far as like controlling the mat. Like Keck Eisen was constantly.
Keck Eisen had one mistake giving up that takedown, and other than that, he out-wrestled.
He adjusted well because Truex kept going for that swing single, and he never got in again.
Yeah,
and nor will he.
So 197, I guess it wasn't as close as
there was someone in the comments that thought it was going to be really close, and Aaron Brooks said, "I don't think so."
Yeah,
because
3 takedowns, and it wouldn't. Not even like any good scrambles. It just
Sloan almost sort of got a takedown near the end.
I called that happening too. When I was like, "Oh, it's the same thing as Parker Keck-Eisen last year." He's like, Aaron Brooks got 3 takedowns. He's like, "Yeah, I'm up. If I give him a takedown, I don't really care." But instead, he just mushed his face into the mat and just held it there for like.
He's like, "All right, yeah. Let me just fend you off with my hand here." But yeah, he majors the returning national runner-up after moving up a weight class.
I think if Aaron Brooks wanted to, he could score more points as well. He just was like, 11-2 is fine. He's just that good. He's 3-time national champion, returning world champion, beat the bronze medalist at Senior Worlds.
I think he's more of the pound for pound thumbs up than Carter, but
I'd love to see them have a live go in practice. I mean, there's a bit of a weight discrepancy now.
NWCA ALL-STAR CLASSIC, Carter Starachi, Aaron Brooks.
We're gonna meet at a catch weight of 184.
Yeah,
that's
gonna happen. I mean, that would have been a great all-star match. We got Crookham versus McGonigal.
Crookham, McGonigal, Starachi.
We're like, okay, we're getting these lineups, really adjusted. But yeah, I mean, there's not too much to say about Aaron Brooks because he just beat the brakes off of Sloan. Yeah. And I think that the three of us kind of were like, this is going to be a pretty dominant win. And it was.
We knew that. I was like, I would not be surprised with bonus points. I'd not be surprised if it was like just a 6-point spread. But
yeah, he just went in there and took care of business, just like the next guy.
Well, yeah, tech fall. No one was calling a tech fall.
But who was the only one that called that he was going to win?
Okay, yeah, you called that, but like, that match.
He injured Captain America.
I still can't believe that happened. Like, What? Or should we be saying Kirk for pound for
Hodge.
pound? He just teched
No,
number 2 guy.
no,
You
no.
know, what's gonna be funny though? When Gable comes back,
Oh yeah, Gable comes back.
he's like, "Oh yeah, I see you took him down a bunch of times. Like, I'm gonna do that to you now."
Yeah,
But
Try to ruin your
take you
parade.
down a notch. I mean, that 7-point move
the 7-point
really.
move was huge.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
I mean,
He
Hendrickson
took him
was.
down 3 more times.
Yeah, but he was visibly shooken up after that first exchange.
I mean, yeah, he injured his knee at the U23s. I mean, he was wearing a giant knee pad that he never used to wear. So clearly his knee's not like 100% going into the match, and he probably tweaked it a little bit during that
Like he hit his
exchange.
head
But
even
still,
too.
like that's a big,
He was jogging off the mat fine afterwards, so like arguably he was okay.
Injuries aside, I think that like still getting a tech before the second period even ends is insane.
Yeah, that's yeah.
And he
Even without the 4 points, like I
yeah,
think he was still going to get the tech.
he
Like it
had
happened in the third period.
yeah, he had 4 takedowns, 2 escapes, and the 4-point and the 4 near fall. I mean, we talked about like, oh, Kirk's really good on top. Hendrickson's probably not going to go bottom. And he's gonna, Hendrickson's gonna want to wrestle on his feet because that's where he's, the better guy. But then that was proven wrong when Kirk took him
Yeah,
down 4 times
yeah.
to 0.
The opposites happened. Freaking Hendrickson got away,
Yeah,
got destroyed. Hey, got destroyed on his feet.
Yeah,
So
but I will say this. I will say this. It's going to be a more level playing field in March when all teams have to travel because this was hosted at Penn State. All these guys got to hang out in their own bed all week long. Where all these guys, I don't care how many days early they show up to adjust. You're still in a hotel. You're thrown off. You had a flight. Like it's going to be a level playing field in March.
I almost wonder if it's gonna be like a Brett Metcalf thing, where he wins by tech in the All-Star Classic and then loses in the NCAA Finals.
oh shoot, yeah, that's right. Metcalf wins by that's
Yeah.
right.
Um,
Yeah, Kirk's got a big head now, and Wyatt's now got an axe to grind. So
I mean, if I'm Wyatt, I'm kind of wondering what's going to happen next because that was not the match. I don't think anybody was predicting a major, let alone a tech.
I mean, I think everyone was predicting like a 5-4 match type
Yeah,
thing.
just like a down to the wire, anybody's
I thought
match.
that was going to be the most competitive match
Yeah,
of the night, and it was like the least close match, other than Alexis Janiak.
yeah, she did beat ass.
She won in like 30 seconds. So,
Yeah,
other than
freestyle.
her, that was like the biggest blowout.
But yeah, I know Penn State probably pretty happy, but I'm sure they're not going to focus on the wins. They're going to be like, oh, Bernie, we got to work. We got to get back to it.
Yeah, you
Bernie, we need
dumb
to stay in the
transfer.
center of the mat,
Yeah,
not
One of
flee
us.
off to the floor.
We'll throw in Josh Barr and take your spot.
that's
Yeah.
it. Josh Barr's already beaten, top 10 nationally ranked guys.
Oh boy. So comments down below. What do you think of the NWCA All-Star Classic? Is this a good indicator for March for the NCAA tournament for postseason wrestling? What was the most surprising outcome? Drop it in the comments down below.
Thanks for watching. We are Cactus Wrestling, and we'll see you next time on our next video.